Oh, hey, John Behavior. What's up? I'm mad at you about the cake situation, by the way. You told everybody that they were getting less cakes this year, and I can prove that that's not true. Oh, show me. Nuh-uh. Yeah, I don't think you can just nuh-uh something that can be factually proven. Yeah-huh. I don't think you can't yeah-huh either. You gotta mean what you say and then follow through. Nuh-uh. Ugh, man. Wait a minute. Oh, I've been talking to a brick wall. Shouldn't do that. Hi guys, Bran here, and this is going to be a way different video because I initially planned a completely different video I was going to release today, but I kind of got on a very frustrated tangent and soapbox as I realized that some walls are beginning to close in around me and us as a community a little bit, and I'm getting a little nervous, getting a little anxious, getting a little afraid. So, man, if only I had some sort of YouTube channel that I could express these things on and speak with like-minded people that feel the same way that talk to me about it in the comments. If only I had that. Oh yeah, I do. So I'm going to do that. If you haven't... If you can't tell by now, this is a very, very, very unscripted video. Usually my videos only ever have like bullet points that I look at, but this is going to be very, very unscripted, almost ranty, probably ranty. It's probably going to get very ranty because I am afraid for the future of Dead by Daylight. Why? Because there's just been a lot of things recently that have kind of not ignited my fear for the future of Dead by Daylight, because I've always been afraid ever since about 18 months ago, and they started pushing the whole like anti-killer, anti-everything changes on us. I feel like a switch flipped, and suddenly they started treating us really differently, and I've been nervous ever since then. But there have been things very recently, specifically, that make it feel like things are getting very steeply worse that I want to talk about. So let's go ahead and talk about them. The first and the most obvious elephant in the room that some of you have legitimately asked me directly to talk about is, now that the event's over, will you make a video on it? Because, wow, that was a whole shebang. I would argue that the whole cake thing vastly overshadows the event. And the event was already a mess in itself, and the fact that it felt very kind of, Art team, I love you. Art team, come here. You know, sometimes I get told that Behavior sees these. So Art team, here's your pat. I love you. 20 out of 10. You're doing great. You're amazing. You're doing above and beyond. You are killing it. Dare I say killing it. We appreciate you so much. And don't let anything that anybody says about DBD or Behavior or anything go to you, because you're lovely and I appreciate you. You're killing it. You're doing a great job. But the event, outside of its cool aesthetic, it was a completely lopsided mess that was completely miserable, one-sided, didn't leave a lot for the killer role to do. And honestly, even when people started to get like the hang of the poison and how to use it correctly, it became kind of inversely boring on the other side, because people run stuff like Bubba and Myers and just poison you and leave you with basically zero chase, which is the most fun part of the game. So yeah, I kind of ended up being miserable for everybody. I notated in my previous commentary video that Steam, at least for sure, has seen a very vast drop for that 170K player number that we had previously as soon as the event came out, because people were like, oh, yay, the 10th anniversary event. Oh my God. They were like the door hit him in the face. I was making this joke on stream. You know that like TikTok meme? It's kind of a more dated one now, but there was that TikTok meme that was like, wow, I sure hope this good thing happens to me. I was then shot 37 times. That was like seeing the 10th anniversary stream and being like, wow, 10 years of Dead by Daylight. Wow, they're remaking so much. Wow, we have so many cool IPs coming. My hope is restored. I then got evented 37 times. Like the event just took all of the wind out of those sails. But what I was trying to get to, like I said, this is a rant video. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's a rant video now. Is what really perturbed me and scared me was the little debacle with the cakes. And this is something I briefly touched on in my cake video, my dedicated cake video I made, where for some reason, I don't know whether it was like mass miscommunication internally in Behavior, which is already concerning, or it was just them outright trying to mislead us. They were saying that we, for surezies, did not get more cakes last year or the years previous than we did this year, which is something that is extremely easy to disprove. It's not a matter of opinion. We can just go look at the cakes we have stacked from previous years. There are people that did even more in-depth tracking of the cakes that they got from previous years. It's an extremely easy factoid to go, no, that's not true. That's not what happened. But they insisted like 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 times, because I'm pretty sure there was a forum post and a Reddit post that I didn't account for, that, yeah, they just kept insisting. Like, first it was nuh-uh, and then it was, no, actually, it's the rarity. No, actually, it's that last year's event was bugged to give you more, even though previous events also gave you more. Like, they tried everything to kind of like lead us astray and deceive us, whether it was purposeful or not, about the whole cake situation, which really scared me, because I was talking about this on stream today. I always try, from my place of critique, to be as fair as I possibly can. Like, I get a lot of people, because I critique behavior time to time on this channel, I get a lot of people who think that my whole thing is just like, I hate them, I'm out to get them, grr, stupid idiots, bah! And that's like, that's not my deal. But the fact is, like we're on the internet, so, you know, I've heard a really good quote recently: don't attribute to malice what can be contributed to ignorance. Some people ignorantly think that I am out to just get them because I critique them at all, which is not the case. So I get a lot of people in the YouTube comments, get a lot of people in the Twitch side of things, twitch.tv/Mr. where they just come in like, yeah, behavior's a bunch of lazy, stupid idiots, and I hate them, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whoa, relax. That's not constructive. That has nothing to do with anything. Chill a little bit. You know, like, I'm always out there trying to be like, let's make this constructive. Let's make this a productive conversation that isn't just kind of like mudslinging and crashing out. Let's try to make this something that we can discuss, that puts the future of the game in a brighter direction. I'm always trying to be as fair as I can. But when there's stuff like that, where it seems like either extreme miscommunication, like I said, internally, where the people that are giving those reasons for why the cake thing was the way it was were just wrong. They didn't research it very well, and they gave it to the social media people, which puts the social media people in a very unfair position, because they are the ones that get the brunt of all the pushback, even if it's deserved, but they're not the ones that got told that, probably. Or worse, which they could be intentionally trying to mislead us. They could be intentionally trying to skew the facts here, which would be far darker, but there's not really evidence to either. We just know for some reason they're telling us a lot of wrong information. The intent behind it, we don't know. But like, they doubled, tripled, and possibly quadrupled down on this for some reason. The reason I bring this up is because I don't know if you've noticed, but we haven't had a mid chapter yet, and the what is its official name? The Judgment is coming soon. We have the Course of Sin chapter coming, and we have to have the PTB for that. And they said the last time that we were confused that there was any sort of like balance or major bug fixes, and the last patch was, oh, well, don't worry. We're going to be doing that during mid chapters now. So we can focus on releasing the new content and making sure it is well polished and as good as the state as it can be in. And then we'll worry about like the game balance and the game health stuff on the mid chapters, which is, if that was what was actually happening, a good point. I think that's fair, because I think it's so frustrating to have things come out broken and frustrating. And if they could spend more time and manpower to focus on making the new releases good, that's a good thing. As long as they follow through with their promise that, don't worry, that other important stuff, we're not forgetting it, it's happening during the mid-chapter. But currently, like, mid-chapter should be happening like right about now, and it's not. Which means we're probably not getting the mid-chapter, which means one of two things. Either, once again, there was a miscommunication and we actually are getting changes in balance during the mid-chapter, which are not during the mid-chapter, during the new chapter release, which would be confusing because you said that wasn't happening, but now it is. So that'd be weird, but honestly, that'd be the better scenario. Or B, we're just not getting a mid-chapter and we're just not getting those balance changes and we're just not getting those major bug fixes, which would be the bad ending. That would objectively be the bad ending. And I it's one of those things where, like, I think there's just like the situation where, like, it was either extreme miscommunication or hopefully not lying about the cake thing. It's like, I can't really defend you there. Like, you huffed and puffed your chest out about the whole, like, no, we really insist the cakes are fine this year when you were objectively wrong. And you kept doubling down on it. Even at the very end, when you finally, quote unquote, fixed the cakes, the rarity was not actually a comment. You just made the price comment. So we still were getting less cakes. You still truly didn't fix it, nor did you extend the event so we could actually make up for all that time lost when the cakes were even more messed up. Like, you dropped the ball entirely, but the thing for me is, like, just the stubborn double, triple, quadrupling down about it, it was mega concerning, because that's, like, really bad. So if you follow that up with a 1-2 punch of, not only are we going to do this really weird, like, stubborn anti acknowledgement of the fact that, like, the cakes have been nerfed this year, now we're going to promise you, don't worry, we're not adjusting the much needed balance changes and major bug fixes because we have a mid chapter coming and that's when we'll do it. And then you just skip that mid chapter. What? I don't know how to defend you there either. Like, I don't know how to defend you there. I don't think I can. I think that's the crappy part. I don't think I can. I don't think I have an answer for why that would be. I think realistically, if I'm going to be extremely pragmatic, my best guess is because they're doing that huge overhaul, that huge overhaul that's happening next year where, like, everything's getting graphically remade. They said they're doing a lot of recoding too, as well, so that's probably a majorly intensive. My best hope is that, like, they're just kind of, like, neglecting everything right now because they're like, oh well, we have a lot of stuff planned for this big update next year, so we want to make sure that that's going well. So it's all hands on deck to the neglect of the current game that we have right now. Not that that's okay, not that it makes it better, but that's, like, me trying to, like I said, very pragmatically trying to be like, maybe that's why all this weird stuff is happening. But I don't understand how this can be defended. Like, I don't have a place where, like, oh yeah, just neglect your game for a year. Like, even if that's, like, the pragmatic reason that this is happening, like, I don't know how I can agree with, just neglect the game for a year. I made the analogy on stream. It's like, live service games are kind of like a vehicle. They're like a car. Coming off the lot, it does work. Or, you know, whenever you, like, inherited it, if it was like a used vehicle, like, it works, right? But you gotta check the oil. You gotta make sure your brake pads aren't wearing out. You gotta do these things so the car doesn't break down or break you. Like, you gotta make sure it's safe. So you gotta keep taking care of it. But I've just noticed time and time again, we're just kind of either kicking the can down the road or giving excuses that really don't even begin to cover the issue that caused the need for the excuse in the first place, which is making me really concerned. And like I brought this up in my cake video, there was a point in time where behavior was like this for everything and not just like the here and there, where, like, things would get broken and messed up and they just wouldn't fix it for, like, literal years. Like, it would take 3 or 4 years to get something to be adjusted. And a la Almo and the object of obsession discussion, if you guys were DBD old heads and you remember that, they may be looking at their stats going, well, our stats just say this, so we're just not fixing it, and just sticking their head in the mud and just kind of not caring. I was going to say there was a time in DBD's history with those things, but it's realistically most of DBD's history, if you're looking at the whole 10 years, they just kind of go, nuh-uh, it's not a problem, and they just didn't fix things for years and years and years and years. So that's kind of why this video kind of spawned and why it's more of a rant perspective and not like like a more well-constructed video, because it's like, I'm just scared because like I played DBD during that era where they were just going, nah, I know better than you, and also suffer. Like, so for them to kind of very softly do that with the cake thing, where they're like, oh guys, like, our cakes are nerfed. Was that on purpose? Oh no, the cakes aren't nerfed, but they are though. No, they're not. Okay, but here's the proof that they are. Yeah, sure. It was actually that last year's cakes were bugged to give you more. Okay, well then why did I get a similar amount of cakes the year before that and the year before that? If it was just the one that was bugged, have they been bugged this whole time? Like, it's like, it's that same kind of like mentality, that same kind of approach of, nah, you're wrong. And just like hoping we'll take that. And hoping we'll just kind of like go away, that it scares me, because it reminds me of old behavior, like old behavior when we didn't get cared for basically at all, which was not good. So I'm worried now, as it seems that we're not going to be getting a mid chapter, where it's another one of those situations where it's like, hey, we promised you, don't worry, the bounds and major bugs will be handled, just not during the content drops. It'll happen during the mid chapters, and you're just skipping the first mid chapter after saying that. Like, I don't know how to defend that. I don't know what to do there. Like, if you're just, I don't know how to defend that. I don't know what to say. Like, you should have done that. If, to be fair, it could just drop tomorrow. Who freaking knows? Maybe this video will be super outdated and they'll just do a random like mid chapter drop and it's super wild and this video has no reason to exist and I edited a video for nothing. But I don't know, it's just giving me like really badly reminiscent vibes of the old years of DBD, where they just kind of wanted us to take the simplest explanation and just go away, which I don't think is good. And I think I've been relatively tame with like my own frustrations in this video. Like, I'm expressing them, but I'm not like getting mad. I'm not raising my voice, but like genuinely, if I could speak from the chest for a moment, I feel like I've never been more ignored by behavior realistically. Like, just us as the general audience who play the game either semi-regularly or just regularly. I don't think we've ever been more just kind of like disregarded and not paid attention to than back during those awful days where it's just like it would take 4 years to get a problematic perk to be changed. Like, it's reminding me of that era again, where we just kind of like don't matter. And then it requires me to like retread a lot of things that I don't want to get too much into, of like, it's that silent casual majority that we always hear about, but we never actually like get the stats on what they're doing, what they feel, why we're making these really wild decisions that completely alienate the general audience, but we're doing it for them. But trust me, they exist and they're there. You just can't see them, but you're just supposed to be cool with all these changes. We're not going to explain why we're making them. We might show you a stat page of stats that are uninterpreted because the stats just say so. The stats said so. But we never get to really see who these changes really are for. We just get to be on the back end of them and get to suffer, which sucks. Just, I don't know. It's just, I don't think this video really has a point. Like I said, it's more of a rant video. But it's just like, I just really hope that we're not going down that road again. I really hope we're not going down that road again, where instead of being like very like, we have our finger on the pulse of the community, we're trying to listen, we're trying to make changes that make not only the casual audience but the general audience as happy as possible. But like, we're actually like a part of our community. We love the community that plays our game and enjoys our game. It feels like we're just kind of a nuisance right now, and it feels like we're being hand waved a lot in like the past month or two of just like, no, you're wrong and it'll be fine, just don't worry about it. And I think the thing that frustrates me is that like, there's so much about the game that's just like, they've just kicked the can down the road and done this with, that just, it's getting worse and worse. We're not even talking about like bugs and character specific bugs, like diminishing returns, which was a update that came out that the whole deal with it was like, don't worry. It may seem really harsh right now because it just gutted a lot of builds that realistically weren't too crazy problematic besides maybe the occasional haste build. But then trust, we'll be able to make stronger, better perks. We'll be able to rework a lot of the older perks and make them better too. Don't worry. They haven't done any of that. They haven't done any of that. None of that's happened. Diminishing Returns has been out for a while, and we just didn't do any of that. Is that just not coming? And there's so many examples of that where they just go, oh, well, don't worry, it'll be fine. We'll maintain it, and they just don't. And if they did decide to do that with like the balance and major bug fix changes that like keep the game alive, that's really bad. That's really bad. That's not good. That's really, really bad. So I don't know. I feel uneasy. I feel anxious. I don't feel good about the future of the game because in addition to like the rough like 18-ish months that we've had leading up until this point, it kind of feels also that we're just kind of being like shooed away at the same time. So I really hope that's not what the intention is, but it really feels like we're just kind of like being like, the best scenario is to get us to be quiet and move on and not like actual solutions. And I don't know. I don't like it. Makes me afraid. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you guys feel the same way, so I'm not going to keep hooping and hollering about it forever, but it's just, I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way. It rubs me the wrong way, the way they've been handling a lot of the recent controversies that they have had. So I'm sure you have your own thoughts about it, and you've probably already let me know down in the comments below. So thank you for doing that. If you haven't, have fun, have about it. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for hanging out today. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Really appreciate it. Helps keeps the lights on, and helps keep the lights on, helps fund Will's spring, his little plastic spring toys that he loses everywhere that I have to keep rebuying. So thank you for helping the little guy. But yeah, I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. And if I don't see you there, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.